It's time for today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams. Ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Right now.
Hey, you know what up? It's out.
Responding to a shooting, 2370 Airways.
We are coming on the air with breaking news tonight. Rapper Young Dolph is dead at the age of 36.
And it's a great loss, man, for this city to suffer a loss this big.
Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith are, we allege, the two shooters.
We wouldn't be here without strong evidence against them.
It's a major case. It's a big deal.
We're going to be ready for trial, and they're going to be with us. There we go.
I'm just waiting for all of the facts to come out, but I do believe and I know that his justice will be served. And I know that without a shadow of a doubt, it will be served.
Thank you for joining us today on Fox 13 News Midday. I'm Dominique Dillon, and first at midday, the trial over Young Dolph's murder begins. Opening statements are underway, and we're already hearing major revelations from court. Assistant DA Paul Hagerman says Yo Gotti's late brother, Big Jook, put out a $100,000 hit for whoever killed Young Dolph.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
Yeah, Quanell, the trial is underway for Justin Johnson, former hip-hop artist and alleged assassin of Young Dolph. The city of Memphis has long been plagued by violence, but also the hip-hop culture, the culture, has been long plagued by violence. We had the assassination of one of the members of Migos right here in Houston, Texas, just a couple of years back. This murder happened in 2021 outside of a cookie shop. Now, the famous snitches get stitches, hard culture of Memphis seems to be deteriorating and falling apart because Cornelius Smith, one of the two alleged shooters, has been on the stand testifying against his co-defendant Justin Johnson. Now, Justin Johnson's attorney is saying that this is all contrived, that he had rejected participating in it to who is alleged to have masterminded, a man named Jovan, who was working allegedly for the second in command at the very successful CMG Music, often referred to as the cocaine music group, that is headed by artist Yo Gotti and his brother Big Jook, who was also murdered back earlier this year outside during a repast or a wake for another murder victim. It's heartbreaking, it's disgusting. I'm glad the police officers, the law enforcement there in Memphis has put a case together. I'm glad this man has decided to give testimony against his co-defendant, and I hope that there is justice for the family, friends, and fans of Young Dolph.
Well, it is alleged that Big Jook's murder was a direct retaliation for the money he put on the head of Young Dolph.
Right.
And you're right, he was attending the funeral services, etc., of another murder victim. Then what we're looking at here, Charles, you're speaking about the culture of violence and murder attached to hip-hop rap music. It's the truth, that's real. But I'm absolutely angry at these brothers who are willing to commit genocide over foolishness and ignorance to where they slaughter each other, then get on rap albums and glorify it. Now the federal government is taking those same lyrics and indicting hip-hop artists in those lyrics and sending them to prison. But also, what about those who are complicit in the murders? Those music industry moguls, executives, distributors who know what they're rapping, filth, murder, homicide, genocide, and glorifying it, but yet these big music moguls are getting rich from that genocidal rap, but yet they bear no responsibility for what they're pushing and distributing that's fostering and facilitating and promoting the murder culture attached to hip-hop. All must be held responsible. the young men who are rapping about it. The victims should receive justice, but also our community has suffered greatly from this hip-hop music of the glorification of murder and using drugs, etc., because music moguls refuse to say, no, you cannot do it. We will not distribute that. The same way they told Michael Jackson, when he made that song, they don't really care about us, and made a remark that was offensive to the Jewish community, they made him come back in and clean it up. The same way they tell rappers right now, you cannot make remarks about the LGBT community in your lyrics, or we'll make you go back in the studio and clean it up. Well, why is it they can talk about everything bad, foul, and filthy with black people in the black community and foster violence with that music? Nobody holds them accountable.
You know, I'm impressed, Quadell. I'm impressed that we could start here with a subject suggested by our producer, Matt, to talk about this ongoing trial in Memphis, a city that has been ravaged by murder and crime for a number of years, and the hip-hop culture that is a reflection of that crime, and you can turn it into a homophobic, anti-Semitic screed. Great job. But I'm going to stay the course and get back.
You have paralysis
I'm going to get
through
back
analysis
to
because you
Young
could not be
Dolph's
furthest from the truth. The devil is from God with what I just said.
Justin Johnson's trial. All right, okay, you win. Let's talk about rap music, right? People make rap music that sells. Now, I had a conversation just last week. I was with some artists and some famous people who were saying that one of the hardest guys in the game is actually Will Smith. Incredibly, back in the day. And he never rapped about violence. And in fact, I was talking to some musicians who were telling me that the most gangster of rappers don't rap about that gangster nonsense, right? Because they don't put themselves in the crosshairs of the feds and law enforcement.
Because they've actually lived that lifestyle.
And that it typically is people that are pretending to be
studio
that
gangsters.
lifestyle, right? But the thing is, rappers create music that sells. If you could rap like Will Smith about Welcome to Miami and sell 1 million albums, everybody would be doing it.
Did Michael Jackson make music sales?
Okay, he did.
So why did they make him go back and change that song? They don't really care about us. If he made so many billions of dollars selling more records than anybody else, they made him go back and clean that song up.
But you and I were both in high school when 2 Live Crew changed rap, right? When it went from the Beastie Boys, Run
Crew
DMC,
was pushing
KRS-One,
filth to the black community.
Okay.
So those executives did not care about that.
No, they cared about selling albums. And then you saw the evolution from MC Hammer, which was just pop rap. And remember, he tried to be gangster. And again, I've also heard that about Hammer. That Hammer was one of the hardest people in the game.
I've never heard that one.
But he did
I don't know who in the hell you was sitting with having
I-
drinks and
I-
coffee
again,
with.
I know.
You must have been drunk when you was hearing all
you're
that
uninformed.
about Will Smith being
Okay.
a gangster.
No, I didn't
the
say
same
gangster.
man that
I
slapped
didn't say
Chris
gangster.
Rock,
I
but
said
wouldn't slap
back in the
nobody else
day,
that slept with his
he
wife.
was one of the hardest
come on
guys
now.
coming out of Philly. I did not say he was
Will
a gangster.
Smith, one of the hardest dudes coming out of Philly. Stop it, brother.
Okay, but
please
see, that's
stop
the
it.
thing.
You gonna
You
slap
don't-
a 101-pound Chris Rock for making a remark about
But
your wife,
again-
but you won't sleep with the other dudes who are bragging about sleeping with your wife.
Again,
but
I'm
you
talking
gangster.
about young
Ain't
Will
no damn
Smith,
gangster.
not superstar Will Smith, but also look. So you have Dr. Dre, who was a break dancer until he evolved into a gangster, right? You had the Eazy-E, NWA made it clear that gangster rap sold millions of albums, and that's why it's prolific.
And hip-hop artists were paid millions with gangster rap still to this day, but that is really genocidal rap to the black community and black culture because it has fostered a mindset among young black youth that murder, taking drugs, being oversexed with no responsibility is popular and acceptable among black people, and that's a damn lie. Those moguls should be held accountable for the lyrics that's fostering the killings like of Young Dolph and other young men like him in the hip-hop industry. They getting paid millions by letting rappers promote killing each other.
That most rappers aren't making millions. And
You're right
this
about
isn't
that
about the rap. This is about the murders, and it needs to stop.
That was fostered through rap music, though.
In today's Face Off, up.
taking part in sex parties at the same time he was urging people to stay home. Some wild, wild accusations there. All right, welcome to the Noon of Bianca Peters. Dr. J. Varma now responding to those allegations after video of him admitting to it got posted online. It is our top story today, and Fox 5's Linda Schmidt is in the newsroom with more on this crazy developing story.
Yeah, hi there, Bianca. And it is people. Now, there are some city officials who are so outraged by this that they are now calling on the district attorney's office here in Manhattan and the NYPD to investigate. The secretly recorded conversations with Dr. J. Varma, the city's former COVID czar, is creating shockwaves. Varma talking about throwing drug-fueled sex parties during the height of the pandemic.
Do you think you'd have gotten like a hard time if New York City found out that you're having sex parties during COVID?
The video, released by conservative podcaster Steven Crowder, shows Varma boasting about violating the city's COVID restrictions and using the drug Molly. The video seems to have been compiled from several different recordings, with Dr. Varma talking with a woman about hosting orgies with his wife.
Every blast. Sometimes it isn't so much about sometimes it's just something about bodies being close to each other, right? Just being naked with friends.
During this time period, Varma routinely appeared on Fox 5, encouraging New Yorkers to wear masks, stay home, and practice social distancing.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Woo! Dr. J. Super Freak Varma, the former COVID czar for former Mayor Bill de Blasio, was telling everybody to stay at home during COVID. He was telling all businesses to shut down, keep your distance, keep your children home, don't go to work. Businesses lost their livelihood, could never open again after COVID. People lost their jobs, but the COVID czar was busy attending and throwing super freak orgy parties with his wife, he said. He said he was throwing super drug-fueled sex parties during COVID. While he telling people to stay at home and keep their distance, he was inviting all kind of folks to the sex party with his wife. He had his wife up in there with him. He must have really wanted to see somebody just get high with some mollies, according to him, and just bang his wife. This is pathetic. This is horrible. This just goes to show you the freaks that exist in high places of authority in American society. I didn't know if we was watching P. Diddy episode of a news clip, because I thought P. Diddy was the only one who did that in New York, the way them people tell it in New York. So I thought P. Diddy was the only one who did that. But now we got proof. Politicians, city officials were doing the same thing. I wonder now will the Department of Justice open up an investigation into him like they did Mr. P. Diddy and see what political figures were in these sex parties, see what elected officials were in these sex parties, because guess what? He needs to name names.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, I'm glad you can laugh about it. I can't.
Super freak.
I cannot laugh about what the city of New York did to so many small business people. A good friend of mine, wife of a New York fireman who had a business that de Blasio, rest in peace, Woodrow's in Tribeca, that she had built from nothing. She had been offered millions of dollars for it before COVID, and she absolutely lost it because while the commercial tenants still had to pay rent and they weren't open, and commercial leases are not cheap in Manhattan. Rest in peace, Woodrow's, great bar and grill that did a lot of good things for the community, would hold charity events, and just a great place, right? And de Blasio would open them up, shut them down, open them up, shut them down, open them up, keep them shut down for months on end, destroyed. This administration, where Jay Varma defined de Blasio's policies, it destroyed her business. She lost everything, and it's disgusting. And this, man, we saw it. We saw it with Governor Whitmer in Michigan when her husband was throwing a fit about getting his boat out of dry storage, and they weren't willing to do it for him because the wife, who was the governor, was saying, no, y'all can't go enjoy yourselves on holiday. I think she also flew to Florida on a private jet. Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi. You had no shortage of those people who were telling us that we had to be locked down.
But I think
destroying businesses while, okay, I know you want to talk about his wife getting spit roasted at some party. It's disgusting.
It's on my understanding.
I don't know if that's what happened, but
that is what.
Me and my wife ain't never been to an orgy.
I was told, according to the source who revealed that video, that when she got to the party, they gave his wife a Molly and others Mollies and told his wife to sit on it or spit on it. So here's my position on all that foolishness and madness. I'm laughing that such a sexual hypocrite, damn liar, has been exposed with the truth of a city official, because all of them are so corrupt. Look at police commissioner after police commissioner being now homes being raided. The mayor himself, current mayor, his home being raided. Chief of staff home being raided. The FBI is raiding the entire city administration of the city of New York. I'm not surprised that this kind of filth was going on. Look at what's happening in New York right now today. But they will put Trump on trial and convict him of 34 felonies. But hell, it looks like the very criminals in New York should be indicting themselves, because they're a bunch of hypocrites and super freaks too.
Okay, and I don't. If people want to be freaky, I don't care. Grown-ups want to. I don't understand.
No, don't be freaky and then tell me that I got to stay in the house.
That's the problem.
Don't be freaky and tell me I can't walk down the street while you in the bed full of naked people and all y'all bodies being together, according to him.
Hold on.
They was butt-ass naked in the bed, all their bodies was getting together. That's what he was saying.
I know you, but here's the thing. Jay Varma was telling people if you go outside, you had to wear a mask outside. Social distance, isolate. So many people didn't lose businesses and all their savings and their lives. Some people committed suicide over this isolation, and it was horrible in New York. I actually had to go to New York on business during the height of the lockdowns, and it was weird. Like, I got in around midnight in Manhattan, ghost town. Nobody on the streets. This is the guy responsible for isolating people, keeping people away from others, destroying lives, and he's rolling around in a bed.
FBI
you think they wore the mask?
Investigate this?
You think he had some condom down there and a mask up there? You think he was?
I think he and his wife both had a mouthful. Oh my God. Charles,
I don't want to laugh about this, Cornell. It's not funny.
You don't think the FBI should open an investigation of that?
I don't. If there was a crime.
Yeah, but you want P. to go to jail and go to prison.
I don't want him.
And they all in New York freaking together.
Crimes. If he committed arson,
why
if
we
he
find out about them
human
crimes?
beings,
because I'm sure there was some trafficking going on in the parties.
Willing participants.
I'm sure there was some trafficking going on.
He's kind of ugly though. But,
well, anyway.
Years ago. There's no one at Cody High School more excited about the new GE washer and dryer than Coach Antonio Baker. He says the old ones were breaking down. Actually, it came in the nick of time because this washer and dryer has helped us clean and wash all of our school uniforms as well as our fall sports uniforms. Sometimes students come in to help. He says the washer dryer is truly for them to meet their needs and not miss a day of school. We've actually spoken to some young people who didn't have washer and dryers at home and or there were some hygiene issues. So they discreetly come in early and do laundry and take a shower if need be. And we've had some parents as well as our booster club donate packets of, soap and, toothpaste and toothbrushes to help our kids. Carrie Mitchell of the Detroit Public.
Cornell, we don't have the graphic yet, but we decided that we didn't want to just be negative, talking about the face-off F-up every day, talking about our arguments, our screaming matches, that we also want to have a face-off friend. And we went big picture with this one. The Detroit School District, the Detroit Pistons, and GE all working together to make sure that children have the facilities necessary to attend school in a clean, hygienic manner. I hope that other school districts take this, because I've always held the position that it is our most vulnerable students that should get the most attention and the most care. And right now, the American paradigm is they get the least care. Most unsafe schools, the discipline problems in poor areas, in poor urban areas, These law-abiding, rule-following kids are left to suffer. These poor kids get the least amount of resources. And Detroit, obviously, much like Memphis, has struggled with crime and poverty for many years. And I think it's a beautiful thing for the Detroit School District to be working at making kids more accessible to getting an education.
I applaud the Detroit School District who did this. I applaud the Detroit Pistons and GE and all of those who are helping to make this a reality for those children. I got kind of choked up watching the episode because it is an absolute actual fact that there are a lot of children who were like me and my brothers who only had one pair of pants to wear to school, and we would go to school and we would lie and tell our friends our grandmother bought us 4 and 5 pair of the same pants, the same kind, so they wouldn't make fun of us wearing the same pair of pants over and over. There were many times where we did not have laundry detergent, and we didn't even have dish soap because we would use dishwashing liquid sometimes to wash our clothes with. And so I remember one time my little brother Quentin, may Allah rest his soul in peace, he left home at about 11:15 and lunch started at 11:30. This teacher came to my class and asked me, where was your brother? Your brother didn't come to school. And I got concerned, I got worried, you know, what happened to Toast? What happened to Toast? That was his nickname. Well, they drove toward our house and they saw him walking to school. And he told the teacher, he said, well, I had to let my pants dry. I washed them late last night. When I got up this morning, they were not dry yet. So I took them outside, and when the sun came up, I put them on concrete, hoping that they would dry. And so I was relieved to know that nothing had happened to him. But thank you, Detroit School District, because there's so many kids who are so poor, who don't want to tell nobody what they're going through, what they're suffering, that they can now go to school early before the classmates get there and wash their clothes and put their clothes on.
Yeah, and take a shower. Big shout out to Detroit.
You're the heroes of the day. You're the heroes of the day.
Thank you for doing something to make it easier for the kids that need the help.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.